Book exercises, Section 1, dash or hyphen directions, write whether to use a dash or hyphen. Then, rewrite each sentence. Question: there are 35 players on the team. Answer: hyphen. There are 35 players on the team. Question: the Beach Boys, a popular chess-cipher band, gave a performance. Answer dash. The Beach Boys, a popular chess-cipher band, gave a performance. Question: 1/3 of the people did not show up for the event. Answer: hyphen. 1/3 of the people did not show up for the event. Section 2. Insert hyphens and identify rules directions. Insert hyphens where needed. Then, tell what rule supports the usage: compound word, compound number, or dividing syllables. Question: Ali's dad is 37 years old. Answer: Ali's dad is 37 years old. Rule: compound number. Question: does Khan have a sister-in-law? Answer: does Khan have a sister-in-law? Rule: compound word. Question: Jackie is my well-trained dog. Answer: Jackie is my well-trained dog. Rule: compound word, compound modifier. Question: this textbook has 22 chapters. Answer: this textbook has 22 chapters. Rule: compound number. Question: after dinner we visited my great-grandmother. Answer: after dinner we visited my great-grandmother. Rule: compound word. Question: a dash is a punctuation mark used to separate a group of words, not parts of words, like a hyphen. Answer: a dash is a punctuation mark used to separate a group of words, not parts of words like a hyphen. Rule: dividing syllables. Step 2. Vocabulary lexicon. English Urdu synonym, English word, Urdu translation, Urdu tarjuma. English synonym dash, खत तफकीर, बड़ा dash, long horizontal stroke, hyphen, छोटा जोड़ने का निशान, joining line, joiner punctuation, अलामाते तरकीम, mechanics of writing. Syllable, सोती अकाई, रवानी का हिस्सा, unit of pronunciation. Compound, मुरक्कब, composite, combined substitute, मुतबादल, replacement performance, मुजाहिरा पेशकश, presentation, execution event, तकरीब वाक़या, occasion function. Step 3. Sentence by sentence academic Urdu translation. Section 1 sentences. English. There are 35 players on the team. Urdu. टीम में 35 खिलाड़ी हैं. English. The Beach Boys, a popular chess-cipher band, gave a performance. Urdu. The Beach Boys, जो कि 60 की दहाई का एक मकबूल बैंड है, ने एक परफॉर्मेंस पेश की. English. 1/3 of the people did not show up for the event. Urdu. तकरीब में 1/3 लोग हाजिर नहीं हुए. Section 2. Sentences. English. Ali's dad is 37 years old. Urdu. अली के वालिद 37 साल के हैं. English. Does Khan have a sister-in-law? Urdu. क्या खान की कोई साली या भाभी है? English. Jackie is my well-trained dog. Urdu. जेकी मेरा अच्छी तरह तरबियत याफ्ता कुत्ता है. English. This textbook has 22 chapters. Urdu. इस निसाबी किताब में 22 अबवाब हैं. English. After dinner, we visited my great-grandmother. Urdu. रात के खाने के बाद हमने अपनी परदादी से मुलाकात की. English. A dash is a punctuation mark used to separate a group of words, not parts of words, like a hyphen. Urdu. डैश एक ऐसी अलामती तरकीम है जो अल्फाज के गिरोह को अलग करने के लिए इस्तेमाल होती है, ना कि हाइफन की तरह अल्फाज के हिस्सों को.
Right? But they're definitely not just interchangeable lines on a page. They literally govern the architecture of our sentences. Today, we're doing something really cool. We are going to rigorously deconstruct their mechanics. We'll examine them step by step through a strict textual lens, maintaining the highest academic English standards, and then we'll actually shift to a fascinating bilingual perspective to see how meaning is physically constructed. All right, let's just jump right in. We're anchoring our analysis today in a raw textbook exercise, essentially a battlefield of punctuation, if you will. We'll parse these specific sentences step by step to reveal the underlying grammatical framework. We want to figure out exactly when a horizontal line should connect things and when it absolutely must separate them. So here's our agenda for today. We'll start with the mechanics of separation, move into deciphering the dash, explore the hyphen's purpose, review a bilingual lexicon and vocabulary, and finally look at an academic Urdu translation. Okay, part 1. The mechanics of separation. Establishing the academic baseline. Let's start with the dash. The crucial point here is that the dash acts as a deliberate interrupter. Our source defines it perfectly. A dash separates entire groups of words, never merely parts of words. You can easily distinguish it physically by its longer horizontal stroke. It operates on a macro level within a sentence, often stepping in as a powerful substitution for other punctuation marks to create a real sense of emphasis or a dramatic pause. Conversely, we have the hyphen. Now, I know it might look like the dash's smaller sibling, but its function is entirely opposite. The hyphen operates on a micro level as a strict joiner. It's a short, single-character line, and its sole grammatical duty is to fuse distinct word parts into a single, cohesive mechanical unit. Moving on to part 2, deciphering the dash, isolating syntactical separation. Let's look at this text comparison. Notice how the physical insertion of dashes radically alters the visual and structural weight of the sentence. On the left side, the parentheses act almost like a whisper, kind of hiding the appositive phrase, a popular 60s band. But look at the right side. The dashes boldly announce that same phrase. They physically force the reader to pause and acknowledge that separated group of words before moving on to the rest of the sentence. The strict grammatical justification from our source text here is simply substitution. By substituting parentheses or commas with a dash, the writer is allowed to brilliantly isolate and emphasize that descriptive phrase. It changes the whole rhythm of the sentence without actually altering its fundamental meaning. All right, part 3, the hyphen's purpose, the mechanics of joining. Let's contrast the unpunctuated source text on the left with our corrected text on the right. You immediately see the necessary syntactical fusion happening here. The words 30 and 5 just can't exist independently in this context. Without the hyphen, the sentence technically presents two floating, separate numerical concepts rather than one precise quantity. This is a brilliant illustration of the rule of the compound number. In standard English orthography, it's an inflexible rule that compound numbers from 21 to 99 absolutely must be hyphenated. And this logic applies equally to another exercise in our source text containing the unpunctuated number 22, which similarly requires a hyphen to become the unified 22. Let's look at another one. As we strip away the surrounding context and isolate this interrogative sentence, the absence of the joiner on the left creates some glaring structural ambiguity. I mean, a sister-in-law without hyphens essentially reads like a sister who just happens to be practicing the legal profession. The insertion of hyphens here is strictly mandated by the rule for compound words. These hyphens ensure that the three distinct terms, sister, in, and law, operate together as a single unified familial noun. We see this exact same mechanical necessity in another textbook exercise from our source where great-grandmother must become the hyphenated great-grandmother to function properly. Now observe this next example with the dog. Notice how the two separate modifiers preceding the noun dog absolutely require a physical bridge. Without that hyphen, the word well modifies trained, but the connection to the noun dog is slightly fractured. It just doesn't work out. Academically speaking, this specific application of the compound word rule creates what is known as a compound modifier. The hyphen definitively links the adverb well and the participle trained into one singular descriptive force right before the noun they describe. It completely removes any linguistic ambiguity. In this final English textbook exercise, we witness a complete mechanical failure. Look at this. A word has been improperly and honestly arbitrarily fractured with a space at the end of a line, resulting in the non-word parchas. To correctly divide a word across a line break, you have to deploy a hyphen, but it must be done strictly according to phonetic syllables. Because the word parts consists of only one single syllable, it cannot be structurally divided at all. No exceptions. Therefore, the correction removes the break entirely. You see, understanding the hyphen means understanding when it is literally illegal to use one. This brings us to part 4, bilingual lexicon and vocabulary, bridging the linguistic divide. This lexicon, drawn directly from our source material, gives us the precise high-level vocabulary required to translate the function of punctuation across linguistic boundaries. It elevates our understanding beautifully. For instance, look at the translation for syllable. It's suti ikai, which translates conceptually to a sound unit. I love this because it perfectly emphasizes the phonetic reality behind the grammatical rule we literally just discussed. Furthermore, notice how the translation for compound, which is murakkab, perfectly captures the academic essence of a composite or combined structure. When we talk about compound nouns or modifiers, we are actually talking about creating a murakkab, a unified entity built entirely from disparate parts. And finally, Part 5, Academic Urdu Translation, Cross-Linguistic Synthesis. Here, in the Urdu translation of our Beach Boys sentence, we can visibly see the physical dash, the khat-e-tafkir, doing exactly the same work it did in English. Even though the script is moving from right to left, the dash powerfully retains its mechanical function. It visually isolates the appositive phrase within the Urdu text. It just goes to show, the grammar of separation completely transcends the alphabet. But on the flip side, look at the translation for sister-in-law. Translating this concept requires an entire structural shift in Urdu. Rather than relying on a hyphenated compound of literal terms like English does, the Urdu language relies on highly specific, singular vocabulary words like Sali or Babi to convey the exact familial relationship. This brilliantly showcases how different languages can solve the exact same structural problem through entirely different linguistic avenues. So as we wrap up this rigorous explainer, I want